Hi, Karen. I'm so excited, even though we've been talking for like an hour, that I'm saying hello to you again because I'm so happy to see you.
Katie. Okay. I'm feeling so much better now that I'm seeing your face, even though, yes, we've been talking for an hour. It feels like it's been forever. It's so good to see you.
It really does feel like it's been forever. It's like, I mean, it's been 3 weeks. It feels always like it's been double whatever time it's been when I don't see you. But yeah, both of us have kind of different circumstances at the moment. Am I'm hopefully at the tail end of COVID. I'm like, day 6, between 6 and 8 type of thing. Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. That's the reason, listeners, if you notice that we didn't have a podcast last week, that was why, because I was in a fetal position with my first day of COVID, but I'm okay now, honestly, and I actually feel super super lucky to have somewhat of a, I guess, mild case. But you're also in a different, I mean, you're not in the same chair, that's for sure.
I just want to say how relieved I am that you had a, knock on wood, mild case of COVID, and how heartbroken I was when you texted me. You sent me that positive test and I like started tearing up. I was just like, no, come on, man.
Oh man. Oh,
just relieved. You have your sense of taste, you have your sense of smell.
I do. I'm super lucky for that. I really am. I mean, I will say that, for me, it was kind of a slow burn. Like the first day I was like, oh, I have kind of a scratchy throat, but I had been traveling. And so I was like, all right, well, that's probably just normal travel, whatever. And I mean, I wore a mask on the plane in the airport, whatever. But then the next day I was like, don't feel like more scratchy throat, more congestion, more exhaustion. And then I'm like, I don't think I had. That's crazy. Like this, no way. I've been to Portugal. I've been to Nashville. I've been to all these places. I've played chicken with COVID for long enough. I'm never going to get it. And then I guess it was the second or third day, I started feeling real bad. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to take a test. And that was when I texted you. And I was like, oh no. And oh, P.S. I've heard this from other people also, but I'm sure that this is not universal. But for me, those rapid tests at home, you know how they say to wait 15 minutes to see if you're positive? If you're positive, you know it immediately. Like it's like,
come on.
oh no, immediately. Like it's like, you put the 3 droppers in and then it's like, oh yeah, ding, ding, ding.
God.
Like you have a positive test. I mean, truly, it's like you probably have to wait 6 seconds. And so I appreciate that actually, because it's like, oh, got it. Like, that's obvious. So but then, I've been lucky because Tyler and I have a house that's large enough that we can socially distance and we mask inside. And, it just so happens that he, for my birthday a couple of weeks ago, got me an iPad. I had never had an iPad, and randomly. And so for the past week, every night we have Netflix on he's at the TV downstairs. And then I have it on my iPad. And then we text the entire time, like, like we'll watch some show and be like, that was a dumb scene. What is that guy wearing? And like, like just as if we're talking. And so it actually helps a little bit to feel like I'm connected to someone, even though I'm like screaming at him, like press pause, like downstairs. Even I could text that. I don't know. And I probably shouldn't be screaming, but anyway, that's my COVID experience. It's really not so bad. I'm actually going to be okay. I'm lucky. I feel lucky.
Oh my God. So grateful. Okay.
Thank you. I hope you never get it. I really do. I hope you never get it. Like you are the unicorn that never gets it ever. Seriously.
I just feel like the circle of people, not even circle, the number of people I know who haven't gotten it at this point is real small.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm just gonna keep knocking on wood.
Yeah. Yes, and if you get it, it will be like one cough and you'll be like, that's weird. I'm just coughing one time. That's it. Anyway, but yes, it's going to be easy.
God. Well, and I mean, you've been talking about, we joked about the plain chicken with COVID. I mean, I'm in Alabama right now, and I feel like just COVID is not happening here. Of course, like there are a gazillion people with COVID here. Of course there are.
Oh gosh.
But no, I'm the only one in masked in stores. I'm not eating in restaurants, right? Like it's like it's not even happening. And it's just like, yeah, it's surreal that they have completely returned to life from before.
It's just like 2019, January, no biggie.
Nope, just not a big deal at all. I'm very grateful to be here. I'm grateful to not be watching television so I don't have to watch their shitty political commercials. Like
the best. The best.
hell. Oh my God. I just realized that I'm staying in a hotel this time, not with my family, which means that I'm not watching television, which is how I saw all of the god awful commercials. So
I mean, those commercials though, Karen, that made my day. Listeners, if you have no idea what we're talking about, just rewind, I don't know, 5 or 6 episodes at least. But like those commercials. Seriously. Also, your Southern accent it's incredible. It's the best
I
impersonation.
really appreciate it.
Unbelievable.
I come by naturally. I really appreciate you so much.
Oh my God. So good. So good. So yes. Also, so it was my birthday several weeks ago, but when this comes out, your birthday is going to be the day after this comes out, next Tuesday, July 12th, 47. What? Woo!
Oh my God.
I'm so excited for your birthday. Like, how do you feel? Are you?
You can't see me, listeners. I'm just like, I'm making the like scream face.
Yes.
I've been telling people I'm 47 for like since the beginning of the year because I just felt like I just need to keep saying this number so that when it comes, I'm just fine with it.
Yeah.
And I really, I don't know if I was fine with it. I'm not going to say on the show like why I'm having trouble with it right now, but yeah, it's just humbling.
Yes.
Just say it is humbling when you are used to being the youngest at everything to have that no longer be true. And
it's weird. That's just a weird paradigm.
Yeah.
When people that you think are older than you, or at least your same age exactly, aren't.
You're like wildly not. Yeah. And I mean, I love my birthday. I'm taking my birthday off next week. Like I'm working Monday, right? But I'm going to take my birthday off. I got gifted a ticket to see the Sky, which is the WNBA team in Chicago.
Oh my God. How fun is that?
My birthday. I know. And I think I'm just going to go by myself. I got this one ticket gifted to me and I just am like, I'm not going to force somebody. There's no one in my life where I'm like, oh, that person definitely wants to go to a sports event with me, right? Like I don't have that person, so I'm fine just going.
It might actually be really fun to go by yourself, actually.
Well, legit, Katie, and I tell you, the only reason I want to go to a Sky game is that I had a coworker write about how it's the biggest lesbian bar in Chicago, and I'm like, yes,
there you go. There you go.
I would like to go there. Yes. So
I mean, this could be a turning point. You never know what could happen at the Sky game by yourself. See, here's the thing. Like, I think there needs to be a normalization of going to shit by yourself. I really do. Like, not like sad, like, oh, you went by yourself. No, that's badass. Like, why not? You know, like go to dinner by yourself, go get a drink by yourself, go to a movie by yourself. There's nothing wrong with that stuff. Like, yeah.
Oh my God. It's so funny you say that because I don't remember what it was that I wasn't, the person I was going to go with couldn't go.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to go to it. It was like one of those things. It's like only once a year. It's like a street festival or something. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to go because I don't want to go by myself. And it just struck me as being so dumb. Like I'm going to miss out on something because I'm going by who gives a shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially coming out of COVID, like really who cares? Like the option of like sitting at my house by myself again, or like actually going somewhere and having fun. So I'm totally with you. I feel like it really, and I think it's also getting older, I really have shed all of the weirdness about, eating alone in public or going places by myself. Like I really actually like getting a drink by myself because it forces me to talk to randos I wouldn't literally talk to. Sometimes good and sometimes bad, but like I met the funnest people out the night of Pride because my friends left and I was still there by myself, and it was just like I just met these fun people.
I mean, how amazing is that? Like it's so true. I mean, yes, of course, going out with friends is always fun. Like that's wonderful. But friends can also be like a shield to like, you know, I mean, it's a horrible thing to say that your friend, but like, do you know, I mean, like maybe shield is too harsh, but like it's like you don't open yourself, or at least I can only speak for myself, don't really open myself up as much if like I have somebody like my little bud is there to like talk to all the time, you know?
Yeah. Unless that person is acting as your wing person, in
Oh,
which
that's
case
true.
their role is to precipitate.
Fair. Yeah, like kind of like be that person for you that like I don't know what the word is either. Precipitate?
I know it's not. Oh my
Not
God.
precipitate. I keep thinking of
Somebody,
rain. Like I'm like precipitation. No.
I know. Amy, I already know Amy and Caroline are listening to this right now, screaming the word at their podcast listener. Oh my God, what
Oh
is
my
it?
God. It's like that word.
Facilitate.
Facilitate. God. No, it didn't start with a P. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Yes. But yes, to facilitate introductions, to facilitate, more community feelings. Yes. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I get it. I get it. I'm not articulating this at all. Like I need to stop talking. But yes.
well, I also, oh my God, please don't stop talking. I also want to start spelling facilitate with a PH just because.
Facilitate. Yes. Like fat. Remember fat? Like when you would use fat as an adjective to describe, like I remember this is a real tangent. Oh my God. So when I was in high school, I had this group of friends who came into my bedroom once to like, I don't know what we were doing, like just coming in there to like, get like change or do something, whatever. And they were like, oh man, your room is so fat. And I was like, I was offended. I'm like overweight. Like I was like, I don't understand. And I was like, fat what? And then they're like, yeah, like PHAT, Katie. And I was like, totally. Like I don't know what that means at all. But I was like not a cool kid at all. And so like, but yes, we need to. Maybe that's not the best. I also don't. Who calls a room fat? I mean,
God, I feel like they were testing that out. To be honest with you,
yes.
I feel like they heard it somewhere and they're like, "Ooh, there's this new word.
I need to
I'm
use
gonna
it in a
try that."
sentence.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that wasn't. No, it's more like you talk about someone's clothes or like their new jewelry or their new earrings or something like that. It's like not. It's not a room. I don't know. There's a better use of that word. I'm not trying to knock them, but anyway, facilitation. Yes. PH.
Oh my God.
Here, heard it here first. Also on merch. I mean, this is. I
Yes.
really hope that someone is keeping a tally of what's going to be on our merch because for real,
I
yeah,
know.
this is a real revenue opportunity.
We have so much merch. I don't know why this just reminded me, but I have a friend who was talking about like I think it's their cousin, like 3 or 4 year old cousin. Speaking of like hearing a word and deciding to like use it in a sentence, like 3 or 4 year olds, of course, parrot everything, and apparently said to one of their parents, "Fuck you mean?" But used it right. Like they were like trying really hard not to laugh because once you laugh right, they're just gonna say it all the time. But it was just like,
God.
I mean, we can't be mad because you used it correctly. That was an appropriate use of "fuck you mean."
Oh my God,
Also,
that's so funny.
Never ever say that
as a
again.
3-year-old. Like,
Oh my God.
3-year-olds are parrots. They really are.
Oh God.
They just whatever they hear, it's like you can't be mad at it. That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh, facilitation. So yes. So in our always wonderful tradition of seamless segues, I would much rather just continue on this high vibe path, but I will say there is something to bring up, I think, which is not high vibe in any way. But since you and I have talked, Roe was struck down. And yeah, I mean, we've texted a lot about it, but it's just, how are you doing? How are you feeling? I feel sick to my stomach thinking about it.
All the time. And I am actually grateful that the show we had that came out that Monday after, right? So that happened on a Friday. And I'm actually really happy that the next week's show, we recorded obviously while we were like, we pre-recorded it.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't about that. Because I feel like that's all anybody was talking about. And I do think it's important for you and I to talk about it in general, but I'm glad that we gave people a reprieve from it if they wanted a reprieve from it. And, if you want to hit the 15-second forward past this part of the podcast, but yeah, I'm disgusted. I'm sick about it. And I am heartbroken also because the level of betrayal I feel and this sense that like I can't even describe it. It's just like thinking you're standing on solid ground and it turns into quicksand, or like
Yes.
having somebody pull the carpet out from under you, or just this life that you've been living is just not real. Like it's like the Matrix. It's like the fucking Matrix. Like Roe being struck down to me is like the fucking Matrix.
Yes. 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 All of that. Yes. I love that analogy and I hate it because it's true. Like the, standing on solid ground and then it turning into quicksand. I like so many people are I'm looking at those maps of, the states that are, the trigger laws and all of that stuff and it's like I just I mean, I don't even know, Karen, there's no words, like I think like and it's so interesting to me that we had a podcast episode, what was it, less than a month ago about abortion with Tanya. And, she reached out to me just to say like, oh, isn't this, like to, as a thank you for us sending her the link to that episode. Isn't this, serendipitous? And I was like, I'm so shattered. And, I'm sure that so many of us feel the same. And it's like, it makes me so angry, like it's like the anger but how do I harness that anger? Like, how do I, like, what do I do with this? Like, it's just, it just feels like I'm just shocked by it still. And it's been, I mean, not still, it's been, you know, it's only been a couple weeks. And at the same time, like I have people close to me in my life who are affected by this personally. And I know so many people who do. And I know so many people who have had abortions and all of the conversation around abortion being healthcare. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to not say it, but like people are going to die because of this. And it's like, or have already.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like so many, like, and it's just, it's so, like, I was listening to AOC on Stephen Colbert the other day, and, she has a very measured way of talking. I really love her. I wish she could run for president next year. She's not old enough yet, but and I don't know if she'd ever be a light, well, whatever. I don't want to be negative about her at all because I love her, but I also feel like, one of the things that she said was that, there are three branches of government, the Supreme Court being one of them. And whenever the reason for that is that when one overreaches, the other can put it back in check. And she's like, now it's time to put them in check. And she's
Yeah.
like, and like everyone clapped, but it was like, okay, what do you mean? Like, I was like, I wanted to be Stephen Colbert. He didn't push it. And I wanted him to be like, well, what do you mean? Like, how can the Supreme Court be put in check? Like, how can Clarence Thomas be put in check after saying that he's going to potentially, reverse gay marriage? Like,
Yeah.
how is that possible? Like, and it's like, I listen to people talk about other forms of government in other countries, and how, like, in the UK, for example, the like abortion laws came into play in the 60s apparently. And like, and that was a unanimous vote. Like, it was like, it was just, I actually don't know if it was entirely unanimous, but it was large majority that voted, and like in favor of abortion. And in order for them to overturn that, I think it's something like almost 400 people have to vote on it. It's not even an option. Like, there's not the equivalent of a Supreme Court being able to even do that in the UK. And it's like, I'm not saying that we're as good as the UK, whatever. I'm not even comparing it. It's just like, how is this happening? Like, for real though. Like, how?
I have no idea. Well, I do know. I
No, I do
mean,
too. I do
it's
too.
right. Yeah, we all know
It's
how
been
it's right.
it's been systemically happening. It's been like,
Yes.
this has been a campaign for decades. So yeah.
Decades.
Yeah.
Decades. And it is just the beginning, as we all know. And it really, what it reminds me of, especially being in Alabama right now,
Oh my God.
right, reminds me of like living a life in which the laws that govern you are not meant to protect you at all. Right? Like, I come from people in Alabama where the laws of the land for centuries were meant to terrorize and torture and kill us. Right? And so that's what it brings back for me. Like, that we've been living in this dream world, Neo, where the laws of the country, allegedly, that we were depending on at least some of them to protect us. To me, Roe felt like the one thing that people who can become pregnant had.
Yes.
And now that that's gone, it just feels like this free for all, like, oh, really, there is nothing to protect us. And it's not to say there aren't state laws. I live in Illinois. I fortunately, you know, Illinois is this blue dot in the middle of a bunch of nonsense, right, in the Midwest.
Yes.
But that's what it makes me think of, like how people build their lives when the government is set is not meant to protect you. That nothing about the government is meant to protect you.
Yes. Yes. It's like it was a lie.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Oof.
And maybe it wasn't a lie for the 50 years that it was in place, It's like it just makes me so sick. It's just so sickening. And yeah, that comparison is just real, like the Alabama comparison. Like, I think, one of the things I know we wanted to talk today about is like how we cope with this stuff and like how we, how we handle, or at least how I've been handling some of this. And one of the things, like, for me to think about that I like experienced 2 days after Roe was I was around a bunch of really close friends, and I had this wonderful experience where we were all at a dinner party and it was so joyful. And I just found myself, it was like cell reorganizing for me, Karen, honestly. It was like this concept of like, oh, I don't have to carry this all by myself. Like, other people around me can carry this heaviness. Like, it doesn't have to be just me feeling the crushing weight of it all the time. And it was just an interesting thing to like experience in real time immediately after. And of course we talked about Roe, and we talked about our lives in different ways and our hopes and dreams and all of these different things. And it was just like such a balm for that moment. And I think that there's something for me to learn about, like, when I feel that low or in any way, like about any topic, to reach out to my people is the number one thing I can do for my health.
Oh my God, 1,000%. And I think the way we described it is like the power of your people.
Yes.
Like your people specifically. And I'm so grateful you had that experience. And I totally forgot about this until you just mentioned it again. So Rose Friday, Saturday, Tori and I and Cindy were just it was very impromptu, like, what are you doing? Let's just hang out. And as I was sitting at Tori's house waiting for Cindy to come, I think she didn't end up coming. But Claire, our mutual friend, Claire.
Oh my God, Claire. Yes.
Right. Calls. And it's just like, oh my God, what are you doing? It was like 8:00 on a Saturday night. And I was like worried, like, oh my God, what's going on? And I think she said something like, I just wanted to talk to somebody who I knew would be as angry as I am.
Oh.
Right. And I was like, yeah, fucking exactly. And I put her on speakerphone so she could talk to Tori. They'd never met. And Tori was like, Claire, what are you doing right now? Can you come over? Just come over. And Claire rode her bike over. And it was so right. It was like exactly like you're describing. It was this like, yes, your people. Like Claire reached out because she knew it would be fucking livid.
Yes.
Tori also fucking livid. And we had the best time.
Really?
And drank too much. Oh yeah, ate weird shit. And like just ended up talking about a million different things because they'd never met before. And
that makes me
just, like,
so happy.
It was great. But
That's
it was like
so
that.
great.
Yeah, it was exactly what you're talking about. Like the power of your people. Like also just realizing like it's really hard to recognize like I should not be myself right now.
Yes.
I need to not be but like I just don't. And yeah,
that right there, thank you for bringing that up, because I don't think that I recognize that all the time. Like, I definitely think that, like, oh no, okay, I'm going through a bad moment. Like, I just need to let this ride. I need to let this go. Like, no, it doesn't go away until I have someone that I can share it with, or something else to share it with. Or if there is no one available in my life, like, I can listen to a song that like helps, or watch a funny video, whatever it is. But like, me just sitting in a room thinking that I'm going to just somehow will away this shittiness that is like descending on my soul is not real. I love that you're saying that, Karen. Thank you for mentioning that, because that is just so real, that like isolation isn't the answer.
No, and I feel like Tori is really good about going down the list of, what do you need right now? Do you need to be alone? Do you need to have somebody come over? Do you need to go run errands? Do you need to, like, right? She's
I
just like,
love that.
I
She's
mean,
the
she and Cindy are
best.
both like, really, they're really, really good at it. Like, Cindy is the, like, I'm bringing food over, I'm bringing flowers, I'm bringing, right? Like, I always talk about how grateful I am for them.
They're
But
so great.
yeah, it's been very eye-opening, like the experience of living close to them and fucking pandemic and all the things. It's just been very eye-opening about, like, yeah, the power of your people, how important it is to have community, which I know you've talked a lot about too.
Totally. But I mean, it's like, I love that you live close to them too. Like, that makes me so happy for all of you. Cause it's like, that's everything. That's everything. I mean, it is, it's everything. And it's like, that's part of what, for me, the struggle has been with Bend is like not finding all of my people yet, like not finding my group. And it's interesting because it's like, that's how I feel about, I know when I got back from Portugal and the monologue that I gave on this podcast about Portugal, but really it was like the whole point was that no, we're not moving to Portugal because we want to be with our family and friends. And it's like, full stop. That's it. Like, end of sentence. And it's like, we just want to be like, Tyler and I both feel this way. And the way I feel, I only want to be with the people that I love. Like, end of story. And I think that maybe the pandemic has also shone a light on that. Like we were talking before we hit record about, you know, this dinner party that I had. It really was so incredible. And it was one of those, like magic in a bottle situations where like all of us were like vulnerable and sharing. And it was incredible. We were like singing at the end and we were dancing. And it was like, oh my God. And like, I think you had said something about how like, there's the awkwardness and like from the pandemic, and then there's the flip side of it. Is that what you like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like yes, like, oh, I love that description, that we've talked so much about, like, coming out of this and not knowing how to interact with people anymore, like the social awkwardness of like interacting with cashiers, except of course the ones at Trader Joe's who always strike up conversations about your
Yes.
figs or whatever you're buying, right? And just this like relearning how to be out in the world. And I feel like the
Yes.
flip side of that is the joy of wonderful interactions that are awkward but great, and with your people, and meeting new people is also great. But yeah, it's good to be reminded that, like, I think you've said it before on this show, like, we are pack animals for a reason.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I also think that there's something to be said for the relationships that I have now are deeper than they were before the pandemic. They
Mm-hmm.
really are. I mean, and yes, I have great friends from pre-pandemic times for sure. But I do think that there's a different level of intimacy that is shared at this point
Ooh.
with some of my friends. Like well, first off, there's certain friends that I just have kind of lost touch with, not in a negative way, just kind of that's what happened and that's okay. Um but I kind of feel like when I'm together with people, like it is the flip side of like no small talk. Like I'm not interested in small talk ever. Like that's just like it totally bores me, and it like not even bores. I don't want to say it bores me. It actually like depletes my soul energy. Like it's like so intense. It really does. I mean, I can talk about the weather with, the best of them, but really like after like 3 sentences, I'm like, I gotta go. I'm turning into a speck of dust. And so like I just can't. I like disintegrate. Anyway, but the thing is that like I feel like I am only available for these more deep relationships. And therefore the people that are left in my life now want that same thing. And it's like we're not always talking about the meaning of life. We're not always talking about things that are super heavy, of course. At the same time, like I think I'm enjoying it more when I do see the people that I love.
Ooh, I feel like that's a whole episode. I mean, that is in itself a whole episode about, we have fewer relationships but deeper ones now.
Yeah.
And that I feel like my my interactions with people are so much more curated now. Like, I just think about how much I was out in the world and I was constantly going to things and constantly going to things with people who's, I liked just fine. But now I feel like our time is I feel like I'm much more protective of my time.
Yes.
And just like you're saying, like not having these like surface interactions with people.
Totally. And it's like, cause I'm like afraid to go to parties. Like if it's parties, like big parties, I'm like, I don't know. Like I would much rather have like an intimate dinner with a few friends, like than go to like a 75 person party and then maybe meet a few people. I don't know. I just like, it just like makes me a little bit more nervous. But at the same time, yeah, I just think that I like what you're saying about being curated, because I think that there's more thought and intentionality in the interactions that I have now than there were in 2019. That's for damn sure. I don't think I thought about it ever.
Oh no.
Not
No,
at all.
no. Yeah, no, you didn't. I mean, I certainly wasn't taking stock of my relationships with people
No.
then. I also want to name listeners that I am on shitty hotel Wi-Fi. So if you hear some glitches in this episode, I don't have my fancy mic, and yeah, the Clarion Inn. Who knew?
Who knew?
Not the best technological solution available.
But they have really badass plaid chairs. Like,
Ooh, this plaid chair.
got to give some props to their interior design department.
Ooh, yeah, just
so great.
I will say I don't know. I actually think the last time I was here, I've stayed at this hotel now 4 times.
Oh, you have? Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, no, 4 times since last November.
Oh.
And I think I actually looked the last time because this bed is fucking amazing.
Really?
Like I will talk shit about this hotel all day long. I'm sorry, Clarion Inn, but no, the beds are insanely good.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Wow, if they want to sponsor our podcast, we're here for it. Like they need to give you a free mattress. Like that's amazing.
Oh no, I love this bed. And I also recently discovered, okay, this is a huge tangent. Sorry, that was very deep conversation we're having. I just want to say,
no, I'm here for it. Mattress and all.
I was a consultant, a traveling consultant, and I just became like a hotel and airline point whore. Like I just would do anything to get extra miles and points.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I was like so down on this hotel is just like, great, I have choice hotel. Like I'm gold. After this day, I will be I'll have gold status.
Amazing.
Choice hotels, owner of the sleep in and like all, and I was like so shitty about it. And then I recently discovered that chain also owns my favorite hotel in Vegas. And so now I know, like one of the nicest hotel stays I've ever had in my life was at this hotel, this resort off the strip in Vegas. I loved this hotel and they own it.
What? So wait, so if you've been there 4 times since last November, does that mean that that you have gold status now?
Oh, I'll have gold status now.
Oh, hell yeah, you do. You can go to Vegas next week. Like just okay. Somebody can watch the kiddies and you just like jet off to Vegas. That would be amazing.
I want to be clear that gold status is like the next one up from like, oh, you're just a Yahoo. I feel like their top it's like gold, maybe platinum, then I don't remember.
Interesting. Like,
and I'm going to take it.
Oh my God. I mean, that's amazing. I really hope that you get enough points to go back to that hotel in Vegas. I really do. Oh my God. That's so cool that you find out that they're the same. Yeah, that's interesting. Like the status stuff. Like I remember back a long time ago, but I don't know. Have you ever known people who would go on points flights? Like I didn't know this was a thing, but there are people that I used to work with years, and this is a long time ago, but basically what they would do was they would be like, I don't know, 1,000 miles away from getting their platinum or whatever it is, their status and whatever airline, which basically guaranteed them first class every time they flew. And then they had to get it by a certain date. And so from San Francisco, they would fly round trip to New York and never get off. Like they would just like what? Like they didn't even go to New York. They just spent 12 hours. No, not longer than that. 14 hours in a plane and airport combined. No problem. Like excited about it. Like they had like their, like you're shaking your head like this is this isn't crazy.
I mean, I worked with consultants who, when I tell you I was a traveling consultant, I've said this before, like I would leave Monday morning flying to the client and come home Thursday night, week after week after week for 3 years.
Oh man.
And so, the people I knew who were like career consultants would do that shit all the time.
Wow.
Or would like add legs. Like I was in a project with somebody who lived in Dallas. The project was in Chicago. You could get a million direct flights. She added legs where she would stop in St. Louis because the airlines also encourage this behavior. Because so they'll do these challenges like if you get 14 legs or 20 legs between now and September 1st, you'll get whatever. And so, I mean, it's worth it because yes, you get guaranteed first, you get lounge access.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's you get, and you can use points to fly. I think that same person, that same colleague flew her and her brother to Singapore.
What?
For like 2 weeks and didn't pay a dime for it.
Oh my God, Karen.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing, the companion tickets too. I forgot about those.
Yeah.
Shit.
I
this
mean,
is actually making me really enticed to get platinum status on something.
You just rack up. It's really, it was like the thing I became obsessive about as a consultant. I hated being a consultant and I was not good at it, but that was the thing, was the miles and the points.
Wow. I wonder if those have changed over the years or if they're the same. I mean, I would imagine they try really hard to cater to their highest paying guests, it seems like.
United Airlines has gotten stingier.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't know. This is the best tangent ever.
Fuck United. Like only fly Delta. Like, although I actually really do like Delta. So Delta, if you want to sponsor us, I'm here for it because Delta is like such an expensive airline and it's because they treat their people well and they're actually nice. So love Delta. Anyway, this is
Yeah, no, we're giving people whiplash, emotional whiplash. Welcome to our worlds, everyone.
Exactly. Seriously. I mean, this is a selective tangent too. I've already thought of like 7 more tangents and I'm like, I'm not going to go there. Like, this is how brains work. Yes. But okay. So since this is a mini pod, happy to wrap it up. I'm so happy to see you, Karen. And I also love the idea of doubling down our communities, especially when we feel, well, all the time, really. You don't have to feel crappy, but the power of our people, the power of your people is really just, I think it's just like something not to forget, you know?
Yes. And that I also love this image you have of like, you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. And that is the beauty of your people, is that we're carrying the collective pain of Roe, all of us. But then even if you just have personal pain, I feel like there are people in your life who are willing to shoulder some of it or to make it lighter. Even I feel like that is also what you do for me, Katie. Honestly, I can come into these conversations just feeling like so heavy and I leave them feeling really light and ridiculous.
Oh, me too, Karen.
Right.
Oh, I care about you so much. Like, this is why I miss you so much every week. Oh my God. It's true though. It's like, I mean, how many times have we got it on Zoom and I've been mid crying, like mid sob. Yeah, listeners, you haven't heard that because Karen has given me a full length therapy session before we press record, but life.
Yeah. Shit's real.
I know, my shit's real. That shit is so real, but it's good to be back. It really is. And it's good to talk about the normal stuff and just feel like we're not alone, none of you out there are alone. Like, we're happy to be your people too.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. Well, have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.